promise you that there was going to be a lot of practice. Although you can practice at the same time that you go through my videos with idle or Python shell, or by creating programs in your text editor. I also going to include some programs that you can do on your own time, and the solutions for it, of course. But this time, we're going to go and we're going to have a conversation with Python, and we're going to go through some exercises. We're also going to create your first program, and we're going to explain what some bad expressions are. Alright, so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to go through Windows, through the command prompt, or any other way I told you, and try to open idle to have a conversation with Python. As always, I'm getting out of my PowerPoint and I'm going to go into Python. I like to go through Windows, but you can also go through the command prompt. Here we go. I'm gonna make this bigger so you can see it better. The last time we chatted with Python, we didn't say much. We'll now have a more in-depth conversation and see what we can find out about how the language works. First, we must always use the idle command to start up the Python shell, as we did in the previous lessons. Right now, as you can see, the command prompt is waiting for us to give it an instruction. Before, we had tried to say hello to Python, but it didn't end well. So let's give the command shell something we can know computers understand, perhaps a number. Type the value 2 and press enter. This time we won't get an error, we just get the value 2 coming straight back at us. It looks as if the Python shell might be working out an answer and sending it back to us. We can prove this by giving it a sum. For example, 2 plus 2. It doesn't matter if you put the space in between them or not. There you go, we got 4. This time, rather than echoing 2 plus 2, the Python shell seems to have evaluated the result and returned that to us, in this case 4. It appears that the Python shell is taking out instructions and acting on them in some way. In fact, this is exactly what's happening. At its heart, Python is an expression evaluator, which is a fancy way of saying it works things out for us. Give the Python shell an expression and it will respond with an answer. In the case of 2 plus 2, there are 2 operands, the 2 values of 2, and 1 operator, which is a plus sign. When you feed an expression into the Python shell, it identifies the operators and operands and then works out the answer. We already seen what can happen if you type something that Python doesn't understand. You get an error message. The same kind of thing will happen if you give Python an invalid expression. For example, 2 plus. And now I want you to press enter. We enter 2 plus. This expression is not valid, so the Python shell has displayed an unhappy red bar and a red error message, telling us that it doesn't understand it and that we probably should fix it. Python is very good at working out expressions. You can use Python rather than a calculator if you like. Expressions are worked out in the same way that a mathematician will do the calculations, like we explained before, using PEMDAS or order of operations. Doing things like performing multiplication before addition and obeying parentheses, for example. We can do some experiments using the Python shell to investigate expressions. From now on, rather than showing you screenshots of the Python shell, I will show you sometimes just the output. The typed text is normally shown in black. The output from Python is shown in blue if it's right, and the command prompts are shown in brown. Bad things are normally shown in red. So what would you think will happen if you try to evaluate 2 plus 3 times 4? The asterisk operator means multiply. Python uses the asterisk in place of the x multiplication symbol used in math. In math, we always perform higher priority operations like multiply and divide before addition. So I will expect the expression above to display the value 14. The calculation 3 times 4 will have worked out first, giving an answer of 12, and this will be added to the value of 2. If you try this in idle, you should see what you will expect, and that's 14. What do you think it will happen if you try to evaluate this? 2 plus 3 and parentheses times 4. And now press enter. We get 20. I will expect to see the value 5 calculated, 2 plus 3, and then this value to be multiplied by 4, giving a result of 20. Let's try to do some more. For example, 2 plus 3 in parentheses times, let's go back a minute, times 4 and then we're going to put the parentheses right there. Press enter. We still see 14. What will happen if we copy this? You can do right click and copy and paste. But this time we put the parentheses on the bottom. We still get 14. This one is quite interesting. You should try it in the Python shell. So Python says to itself, the expression I'm trying to work out is incomplete. I need a closing parentheses. So the Python shell waits for more input from you. If you type in the closing parentheses and complete the expression, the value is calculated and the result is displayed. You can even add more sums on the second line if you want. What do you think will happen if you try to evaluate the following? I'm going to put a parentheses, only half, 2 plus 3 times 4. Syntax error appears. Note that the command shell is trying to help you work out where the error is by highlighting the incorrect character, which is shown over here on the red. Now let's work with some text in Python in the next video. I'll see you soon.